Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday. Today I am doing a comparison video. So those who are just joining me for the first time because you saw the title of the video, welcome to all my new viewers, all new subscribers, and those who continue to tune in from week to week. Now, if you find that you like this video, like this content, this type of video, definitely give it a thumbs up on your way out, and also consider subscribing and make sure you're following me over there on Instagram and Facebook. So this video today is all about Gold Star table press as well as the KamSnaps table press and my opinions and comparisons between the two. So for those who already follow my channel, you know that I have in the past couple years gotten into handbag making, wallet making, things of that nature. And so still very new at it, still learning quite a bit about it, but is not as much of a transition for me because if you follow my channel or know anything about So Natural Dane, you know that I make all of my clothes. And so for me, just a natural progression to get into handbag and wallets. And so as I have been featuring different handbags and wallets here on my channel, I have gotten quite a few questions here and there about the table presses that I have, what I think between the two, all of that good stuff. So I am hoping, and from the questions that I have received, if you saw my recent video, the sewing buzz, which was just on April 1st, I did talk very high level about it because I did have a few questions. And so this video is dedicated, is a follow-up to that video, which is dedicated to all about the table presses. And so I have my notes here in front of me, so I'll be looking down. And so the first thing I want to first talk about is the fact that I have two presses. Now I am going to change the angle of the camera here in just a moment. So I have the Gold Star press tool as well as the KamSnap. And so again, I'm still learning to use the different die sets and know which die sets to get, but I figure I can share with you today what I have, why I've used them, why do I have two, and why do I have two from two different companies, all of that good stuff. And so I will say the original reason that I have purchased a table press initially, my first press, again I'll change the angle here in just a moment, so bear with me. The first press I have is this is the Gold Star table press, and I purchased this simply for jean rivets. I was working on some jeans. I have had this table press since 2017, so I was working on some jeans back then, and so wow, it's been a while since I've made jeans, but anyway, and I wanted the jean rivets, so that's why I bought this table press. I've had this press, this is the KamSnaps. This one I've had since it's almost a year. It's only been, because I logged back into both of the accounts to make sure I can list everything and tell you everything that I purchased, but I've only had the Kam press for 2 years. And so in this video, so stay tuned, grab your beverage of choice, definitely sit back, relax, grab some popcorn or whatever, a snack, because what I'll do here is have a couple, pretty much a short demo on what I use both presses for as part of this video. I will not go into an in-depth showing of the Kam using the snaps with it, because I do have a separate video when I did the unboxing and went through all of that. So I will link that video right here, and you can go and check that video out if you want to see how to use the KamSnaps to use the plastic snaps and the utility snaps. And so like I said, I use both of these presses mainly for handbag making, wallet making, but for those who follow the channel, you know that I do use the KamSnaps utility snaps as mainly the utility snaps. I have used the colored plastic snaps as well, but I use the utility snaps for the clothes that I make for my husband. So if I'm making him some shorts, some jeans, a button up, maybe we switch out the buttons. He tends to like the snaps over the buttons, but maybe we switch out, instead of doing a jean button, I might do a snap, depending on, you know, the style and what we're going for, what I'm making for him. And so, yeah, I will go over all of that. Also, remember to check the description box. The description box down below, if you go ahead and click on that, the drop down will show you links to everything. There are no affiliate links here, but it will be a link to the both table presses and everything that I have purchased from each of the companies. Where there is an affiliate link is the Amazon store. So if you are new to bag making and different things of that nature and want to see some of the tools that I recommend that I have used for handbag making, that link is down below. Feel free to check that out. I do also have a couple of handbag sew along videos here on the channel, which I show some other techniques in. I have the urban tote from Maggie 55 here on my channel, a full sew along for that. I also have a sew along for the Patterns by Mrs. H, the hobo bag, which is free. And so you will find both of those on my channel. I will link to the playlist for both of those, for those handbag sew-alongs. There will be more sew-alongs coming up on the channel. If you saw a couple videos ago, I talked about some patterns that I picked up even from Joann's, that for those who, there seemed to be some interest on beginner bag making, I can just go through a couple of those patterns. I am very partial to indie patterns, but I did grab a couple commercial patterns from Simplicity Patterns, and so we will do those on the channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you do not miss the upload. So what I am going to do now is go ahead and jump into comparisons. What I'm going to do first is share with you, obviously, the two table presses that I have, comparisons, the different items I bought, accessories for both presses, and then I will close out with a demo, and I think I have a couple of tips that I'll be sharing with you. So yeah, so make sure that and I'll also be sharing, because I get this a lot, how do you know what size rivet to get, and what does the different sizes, you know, mean? What is a double cap rivet, that type thing. So I'll do my best and go ahead and answer those questions for you in this video, but let's go ahead and jump right in. There is a lot to cover, and so yeah, I am going to change the angle of the camera and we will jump right in. Okay, so here we are with both table presses. So just for reference, this is Gold Star, this is KamSnaps, and so I just want to make sure we know which one I am talking about, and also I'll point to it as I'm going through. Now, if you do have a different brand table press, please comment below. Let us know which one you have and your experience with using it. I found people really find the comments to be super helpful. So if they don't have either one of these presses or want to compare another press, they'll read the comments in the comment section just to see what other people are thinking. So the first thing I do want to emphasize and point out, do not, if you have two different table presses, no matter the brand, unless it's stated otherwise, do not try to interchange the parts on, or the accessories, the dies that you have for machines. So do not try to use your Gold Star tools and accessories with your KamSnaps and vice versa. All companies pretty much say that the die sets and all that stuff work with their particular brand, so make sure you stick to that. So let's go ahead and get into the two table presses. So both are described as heavy duty table presses. I am going to set this one off to the side. Well, no, actually, let me do a comparison. Remember, this is your Kam, this is your Gold Star press. You will notice with the KamSnap press, it is this is again the Kam. It is a little bit taller, so it does have a little bit more height to it, and so you will notice that the colors that I have gotten, this is came in the Gold Star come in a lot of colors, and so I picked purple. For those who watch the channel, you know that's my favorite color. And this one is, as you can tell, pink, more of a pinkish tone. And so, yeah, nice fun colors. And both presses are very heavy. These are some very heavy table presses. So when you're using your table press, you definitely want to make sure you're using it on something stable, nothing flimsy, when you're using the presses. And both, from the description I made from cast iron, the description for the cam is a little bit more in depth. The cam weighs close to 12 pounds. I didn't see a weight on this, but when I tell you they feel about the same weight, in my opinion. And then the cam has a throat reach of 3.75 inches. And so it is, based on the website, based from the company, it is the furthest of any manual press on the market. So here is the throat area down here, down below, and it is pretty obvious that there is more space there. As I go through each press, I'll explain how I knew what size rivet or snap to pick. And let me tell you, out the gate, I had no idea how to figure this out, but I'll tell you how I figured it out, and it's not rocket science how I figured it out. I did pretty much what I'm telling you to do. Read comments in the comment section. Watch definitely YouTubers who make handbags, wallets, and also if you're part of Facebook groups, handbag and wallet Facebook groups, ask your questions there or just read through them. So I am going to slide this one. This is the cam. I'm going to slide this over, and I am going to now raise, because you more so need to see this part of it. This is now the Gold Star. Now again, when I purchased the Gold Star, it came with a few items. The shipping was, and it's still on their website like this, the shipping for the Gold Star is 99 cents, and it was 99 cents, you know, when I bought it back in 2017. And so everything did come wrapped pretty good, but because this is so heavy, it came in a priority box. Actually, both of them did, but I do remember with the Gold Star, that box was pretty battered, and it's a heavy item, but it was wrapped really tight in there, I will say that. So not only when I made my purchase, I don't remember what it cost at the time, but again, I'll link it down below and you'll see their prices now. But it came with the press machine. I also got a 9mm double face rivet die. And so what does that look like? So with the I will flip this over and let you know what this what some of these pieces look like. So right now I have the die set for setting my rivets that are 9mm. So what I do, and again I'll show it to you, I use my Gold Star press for my rivets. I use my KamSnap for punching holes, as well as setting in my utility snaps and my plastic snaps. So that's why I have the two different ones. And so I will say both machines, both table presses, both offer the option. You can buy different die sets to set grommets, snaps, buttons, rivets. So these are I'll show you now. I'll flip over the camera and show you the original set of dies and the tools, accessories that I bought for the Gold Star when I initially purchased it. Right now there is a rivet die set. And this is for 9mm rivets for bag making, but I'll show you the die set that I purchased with this for jean making. So I tend to keep all of my rivets, die sets, and everything that's for different machines in a bag, so I know what dies go with which machine, so I don't confuse myself. But for this is everything for the Gold Star. And let me show you the jean rivet that I received when I initially purchased this. Okay, so these are the rivets for jeans, and as you can tell, I have little stickers on here so I know what is what. Let me turn this over. This is the top part, that the facing piece that you would see on jeans is 9.5, and this here is the back side of the post of the jeans, so when you are pressing those together. And then this here is the die set. So what is a die set? So you see this here is for 8mm jeans rivets, and I purchased antique at the time when I purchased the press. And so you will see here there's a top and the bottom. So what are dies? Dies are two different parts. One part, and I'll take this out of the bag so you can see, there's two parts to die set. So when you hear people talk about dies, die set, there's always a top, there's always a bottom. So you will notice on the and I'll show this in a second, on the press, there is one part of the set of the die that has the grooves. That is the part that you will screw into the top of the table press, and then the bottom part is the part that slides down. And so when you are using, say, the jean rivet, one part goes onto the bottom and the other part goes onto the top. So when you press them together, if I will hold them like this, pretend this is in, when you press it together, it will go together like this. And so that's, and obviously with the handle, you press everything down and it'll put these two pieces together. And so initially, before, I had a press that will punch holes, and just in case you don't have a hole punch, you can use an awl. So this is what an awl looks like. And so if you don't have a press with a hole punch, you can just get an awl to punch a hole, because obviously you need to be able to get these into, say, if you're doing jean rivets. So these are the ones that I have purchased for making jeans. So I've taken these out of the pack so you see what they look like. So if you have a pair of jeans, you know the rivet, you see this side, but this is the back side that you'll see that post. That is the back side that will punch into here when you're using your press machines. So if I have both of these dies, just so you can see, that post will go on the top and then the rivet part will go on the bottom, and then you would use your press to press them together. Obviously with this can't sit on top of there with it laying sideways like this, but you'll press them together, and then your jean will be, your rivet for your jeans will be set into place. So that is the original reason why I purchased the Gold Star table press. Now I'm going to show you, with the Gold Star, I have also purchased the 9mm double cap rivets. Now, how did I know what size rivets to purchase for the jean? I will say I found that out from the pattern that I was using. It states in there the size rivets to purchase, and I believe I did also confirm with the pattern designer the size rivet, so I knew what size rivet to go out to Gold Star and get when I purchased this particular press. So let me show you the double cap rivets and the dies for that. Okay, so now we have another die set. This is for 9mm rivets. And so this is the bottom, and I'll actually demo this. So I will show that once after I go through the cam, so you can see how I use them together. And this screws into the top, as you can tell. So for bag making, if I can get these to sit still. So for bag making, you will notice most bag makers use double cap rivets. What are double cap rivets? So both sides of the rivet is smooth, and there is a cap. As you can tell, this size rivet is 9mm by 8mm. So this is double cap. So basically what that means is both sides, once you set the item in place, it's smooth on both sides. It's not like you saw in the jean rivet, kind of the back was that silver and then the front was the rivet. So both sides will be nice and smooth when you set them. Now, the 9mm rivets I have found, and again, this is how I knew what size to purchase. I have found for most handbag patterns that I purchase call for either an 8mm or 9mm rivet. And so what I have found, instead of having different dies, so this is for 9mm. So instead of having a 6mm or something like that and a 8mm, I just purchased the 9, and I choose to use 9mm on all my handbags. It just saves money from having a whole bunch of different size rivets and getting a whole bunch of different size die sets. I just use the 9mm for everything. And then the hole punch I'll talk about in a moment, but the hole punch is perfect for punching holes to be able to put the these rivets through and then setting them into place. So for me personally, you can get larger rivets. I will say that there is an option. You can go all the way up to, I want to say it's almost a 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch of a rivet. And so what that is the post, this piece here is longer, which I probably will invest in longer posts, just because a handbag I recently worked on could have used a longer post. This rivet was rather short for the project that I was working on, which means I would need to, more than likely, maybe I'll have to do some more research. I have seen people that have been able to get a larger, because it's really the post here, a longer post, and still use the 9mm die set. But I just want to make sure, because what you don't want to happen is when you're pressing these together, if the cap part is a little larger, it will get bent when you're pressing the two pieces together. So so that is just something you definitely want to keep in mind when you are looking at caps, size of rivets and different things of that nature. And so again, I will demo this in a moment, but I'm going to switch now over to the KamSnap tool and talk you through that one. So this is the KamSnaps table press, the DK93. Again, you can set snaps, rivets, grommets, buttons. You can use this for different tools and whatever different projects that you might be working on. And so this is, like I said, the type that I purchased. Again, I will leave links to everything that I've purchased for both table presses down in the description box. But essentially what I have on here, and again, I'll demo this shortly. So I purchased this to have a backup to my an additional table press to my Gold Star. Why? Because it makes the construction process easier for handbags, wallets. If you need to punch a hole or something and then set a rivet, it's just out of convenience. You don't have to have two different table presses. You can buy all the dies and everything for one table press and just switch them out. I just find it a little bit easier to have two. And then I keep the hole punch, as you can see here. This is the die set. Again, the die set is always two pieces. You have the bottom part that goes here in the bottom, and then you have the part that screws in at the top. And so the die set for the hole punch I leave on this one, and then on my Gold Star I leave that rivet set die set press. So I'm punching a hole with this, setting the rivets with the other. Now the top die and bottom die. So these are, the top die is a 2.5 millimeter for snaps and rivets, and then the bottom die is for up to 17 millimeter punch. So it's enough space here. So depending on what you're punching, maybe you have a certain size grommet, you just switch this out and you can still use this base to punch that hole. And so that is the die set that I purchased. And also I purchased the, and again, I'm not going to go into how to use these, but I also purchased, these are the utility snaps. So these can go into jeans, these can go into shirts, whatever the case may be. And again, I'll link to the video. It's in the iCard how to set these and how to use these. Now, I also want to say, also in full disclosure, I was sent by KamSnaps also the a variety of a lot of different colors for the plastic snaps that you can use in other projects at kids. I've used this in a makeup pouch where I use the colored snaps as well. And so this is the, and I will show you more of a close-up of this, but this is the die set that I have. There is a different die set for using the plastic snaps as well, and I did show that in the other video, so you definitely want to make sure you check out that video. So there is a die set, and I'll just show you for part of the utility snaps. This is the die set for that, and then there's also the set for the plastic snaps, which is quite useful. So let me go ahead and switch this over and zoom in so you can see a little bit more about the hole punch. So this is a closer view of the actual hole punch that I purchased in the size. Now everything again will be linked in the description box. So if you want something to punch holes for a rivet to go through, purchase the hole punch and die set. Either that I purchased here from KamSnaps, or you can get it from Gold Star Tools. These holes, the holes that are punched using this die, is large enough to fit the 9mm double cap rivets, your 8mm, pretty much any size. I would probably stick to 6 and above because the size of the hole is a pretty nice hole. And I'll show you an example here momentarily. I have not mixed any, like I said earlier, mixed any of the dies. You definitely don't want to do that. You don't want to damage the project you're working on, and you don't want to damage or ruin either of your table presses. Now, the good thing I will say about the KamSnap, for those who are new to purchasing table presses, and maybe this video didn't answer every question that you have, KamSnaps do offer a very nice guide on what tools you will need. And if you are still confused, say after watching this video, going on KamSnaps, going through their guide, you can request a personalized package and submit that with by providing certain information. Now, I don't think that option was available at the time that I purchased this. At least I didn't see it. However, for me, I went back and forth quite a bit with the owner, Judy, and I said that in my unboxing video, and she really walked me through what I was looking for. How did I know what size hole punch to get? It was just based on what I saw that people were using in their own handbag making videos, also from being in different groups, handbag making groups that talked about it. And I saw that question 1,000,001 times on different platforms, and the answers were pretty much the same. Most people, like I say, are using 9mm double cap rivets for their bags. You can use larger ones, but this size hole punch was pretty much universal to any hole that you need to punch. So I use this to punch holes for the utility snaps, the plastic snaps, and rivets. So far for me, this particular size die set works just fine. And so when you're using double cap rivets, again, if that's not clear what a double cap rivet is, it's just smooth on both sides, and it looks clean on both sides after you've set it, unlike the jean rivet that has the flat piece on the back. This is the the die set that I have, that I keep in here most of the time. So let's get into the comparisons and which one I think is a little bit more versatile, and then some other add-on accessories that you might want to consider for your press. Okay, so that is a little bit about both of the table presses. I have some notes here because I know the question will be asked, which one do I think is worth getting? Which one do I think is more versatile? I have had many comments on my videos when I've talked about the Gold Star press tools that people wouldn't recommend them because of their customer service and different things of that nature. Again, I cannot speak to that. I have had no issues with customer service from Gold Star at all, excuse me, during the whole time I've had the press, or if I needed to purchase anything else. But pretty much I've had that press since 2017. No issues with it or anything. The KamSnaps I've had for about a year. Again, no issues with it. Now, having said that, what I would say, the press that if you are like me and you like to just have, like having multiple sewing machines, you want to have a couple different table presses to have on hand just to make it a little bit easier for putting rivets in, different things of that nature. I would say get one of each. Use the Gold Star like I use mine for setting rivets, and then have the KamSnaps for the utility snaps, the plastic snaps, and the hole punch. Yeah, I would say do that. I don't have die sets for grommets, although you can use that. I'll show you the cutters that I use because I have made a handbag that called for grommets, and I don't own any die sets for grommets. So I'll show you that tool. Again, this is additional stuff that you might want to consider. And so, again, everything will be linked down in the description box down below, including, you know, anything that is in my Amazon store as well. However, having said that, I would probably more than likely recommend the KamSnaps. And the reason why is, if you recall me saying, this here, I use it for the plastic snaps as well as utility snaps. And what I like about the KamSnaps is they have, and this is not all of the colors that they have. There's plenty of the colors. I purchased this container to put these snaps in, but I think off of Amazon. But you have the ability to set all the colors in these different snaps. These are plastic. I like the way it functions with the utility. When looking on Gold Star, they don't have those type of snaps, and so I thought, and because I felt the customer service with KamSnaps was above and beyond, because while with the Gold Star, I only purchased it to do jeans, so I didn't have a lot of questions because the pattern told me what size rivets to get, so I knew based on that the die that I needed to get with that. However, by the time I purchased the KamSnaps, I'm doing handbags, wallets, and so I had a whole lot more questions with that. And I just felt that at the time, I was emailing Judy really late, but she is 2 hours behind. So maybe it wasn't as late for her, but for any business owner to really go back and forth and really answer all the questions, which, hey, that may have really contributed to her now having that request that you can submit for information, because that is a lot of work, and to just go back and forth with somebody who had a lot of questions. And so knowing the size hole, again, that was all based on reading that you have to read the patterns. So if you have bag patterns that call for rivets, that call for snaps, read the size it says you should use. I would gather to say the size dies that I have for my snaps and the size snaps that I have are pretty universal, that I can use on any project, and I don't need to worry about, oh, I don't have that die set in place to set the rivets. The thing about the plastic snaps is I was also sent you can remove the snap. With plastic snaps, she has the remover, so say it went in there wonky or something like that, you can take it out with the remover. Now with the utility snaps, there is nothing. And I have had that issue, and let me tell you what I did. I looked on YouTube, did a search on YouTube, and I saw a few videos that talked about using a hand drill in the metal snap to get it out of the garment that you're working on. And I did do that. It didn't overly ruin the top. I did have to reinforce the area again, because obviously now that I'm taking the snap out using a hand drill, you don't want to go through that. So one of my tips is practice until you, I don't know how many ever projects you're going to be working on, until you really get used to using your table presses and knowing how to set your rivets, knowing how to set your snaps. Before you do any type of setting, just do a sample. Just do a sample first, multiple times, until you get it, until you understand. Because I thought I was setting in my utility snaps right in one project, and I didn't. I had to, and it had 8 snaps in there that I had to drill out of the shirt. That was not fun. So yeah, you want to make sure that you take those things in consideration. But because of the versatility of the KamSnap table press, I would recommend that more so over the Gold Star. But again, if it's all about personal preference, there could be other brands out there that others might recommend. You might also want to consider. Now let's get into the optional add-ons that you might want to use, that I actually use for my table press. So I have what is called a riser, as well as a press plate. And so let me move this back. So my press plate and my riser fits my Gold Star press, table press. I had purchased these before I purchased my KamSnaps. So these are available through Debby Hunker, Doodlebug. Many of you follow her here on YouTube, and it's part of her Facebook group. But you know that she has the risers and the presses for both machines, as well as a couple other machines, table presses as well. And so you want to just make sure, if you need something like this, that you get it for the appropriate table press. Again, don't interchange parts and stuff on different machines. You don't want to ruin anything. But so essentially, the press plates, these again are made to fit the Gold Star table press. And so this plate itself measures 2 inches in diameter, if you can kind of tell, and 1/4 inch thickness. And so there is about, as the website says, there's about a 1 5/8 clearance. So this will, again, this is, you screw this in the top, and this goes into the bottom, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But it gives you enough clearance between the top and the bottom plate to accommodate a cutting mat or materials or shape cutter. And so I had a little cutting mat. As you can see, this thing is beat up, but let me show you how this goes in. So I took out my die, and again, this part screws in. So you just screw it into the top. Here. And then you put this one in the bottom. So you would use this. Let me kind of zoom you in. If you have a set of these are known as cutters. So say you are working on an NCW or something that need grommets. If I open this up, you will see there are different size cutters. And so what these cutters are, this is what they look like. So if you're working on an NCW, you know it has the turn lock that you put in there. You can use a square cutter. You can use whatever size you like. But it also has, let me see if I can find, this is probably the size I would use for the NCW. This is the cutter that you would use. There's a sharp end, so you definitely want to be careful with these. And then there's the smooth end. And so what you essentially do, so say you have your wallet laying here. You want to make sure you have your cutting mat underneath. And what you do, there's enough clearance. You can't really see, you can see my finger here, but there's enough clearance where you can slide that top piece for your NCW, and all you're doing, oops, all you're doing all you're doing is pressing this down. And what this, and again, you'll do this on a flat surface. I have this raised up, but you would press down and it will punch the hole that you need. And I've lost the little piece, but it will punch the hole that you need. Again, there's different size cutters in here. For the most part, I've used this size for, I know for an NCW. This one I think I used for the Debby Hunker gratitude wallet. I've also used the round ones. I want to say it was this size I used to punch a hole for grommets. And so there's so many different sizes in here. Most of these I don't use, but this is a nice little package that you get, and then you will always have it. So that's why you would use these press plates. So then you can use your cutter and cut your hole. Now, say you have, and if I take this out, now it's clear. If I just press down, you see this only goes so far, and it's there's still room. If you have a very thick item and say it has thick seams or something, you want to kind of press out those seams. If you don't have a mallet or something like that, you can purchase the riser, put that on here, and now you see that touches. And so you can use that to flatten seams and flatten out areas, and it just reduces the distance between the top and bottom plates. And just so you have an alternative, again, you can use a mallet if you need to flatten the seam out or something else, something like that. The website also says it's also great to use this if you want to crimp edges of leather as well. And so yeah, that is what you would have: the riser, the press plate, and then these cutters, which you would have those for. The other item I want to show you might want to get is the manual set for double cap rivets. This is, while you might have a table press to set rivets, there was a handbag that I was working on that was pretty long that I couldn't slide onto. There's just wasn't enough space to slide it in to set the rivets or punch the hole. So I used the awl to punch the hole, and then I use this here to set the rivets. You set the cap in there and you just hammer it down, again on the flat surface. So this is something that you might also want to consider, because you might not be able to slide your handbag or whatever it is that you're working on up onto your table press. So those are the two table presses that I have. I am going to do a short demo on how I punch a hole and then how I set a rivet, which is really, really easy, very, very simple. And so what I will do is go ahead and turn this around and come back in to close this one out. If you have any questions or if you think I missed something, definitely leave it down in the comment section below. But I'm going to flip this over, show you how to punch a hole with the hole punch, and then how to set the rivet. Okay, so as you can tell, I have the hole punch die set in. The part that screws in the top is on the top, and this part goes in here. There is a screw that you can put in on the side here to keep this stable. I usually don't use it, but you most certainly can. So what I have here as an example, because most of the time I am using faux leather, vinyl or something for my handbags most of the time, so I decided to just show you an example with that. This here is a faux leather. As you can, I don't know if you can see the thickness. It's not terribly thick, but then once you fold it over, it does add a little bit of thickness to it. So I am going to go ahead and punch a hole in this by just pressing it over. I can also show you how, if you press it over, I know a hole, this will punch a hole through this thickness as well, but you need to pretty much stand up to, I'm not in the position to do this. I don't want to mess this up, but yeah, you can punch a hole through all of this, but I'm going to show you for 2 layers. So I'm going to punch the hole for 2 layers. And so you just add the press down, punch the hole, lift up, and there you have it. Here's the hole. And so this here, that just, the little circle just falls out. And so that's what you have. Now if you have a awl and you think that, oh, that didn't punch through, because it did punch through. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. It did punch through. But sometimes if you think that you don't know if it went through or whatever, you can use your awl just to go through that hole just to make sure it went through okay. Now if I wanted to do all of this, I'm gonna go, I would just fold it like such, put it under the press. Again, you want to make sure you're on a stable table or something like that, and be able to put your weight onto this and then punch your hole. And you will hear kind of the hole punching process. And so there we go again. Hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna just, as you can tell, here's the hole. Can you see that? Hopefully. So now I am going to set the rivet. Okay, so for demonstration purposes, hopefully, I feel like this angles. You can see the hole there. I decided to leave all these layers folded together so you can see that the rivet goes through all of this. So when you're putting in the rivet, all you're doing is, say this is the front of the item. This is a better angle. Okay, good. So as you can tell, I put the rivet through here and you see the post coming through. All you do is put the cap. So again, this is a double cap rivet, and snap it into place. That's it, right? And so once you get ready to set this, because now although this is set into place, it's not sturdy. It will pop out. As you can tell, the post is still still moving through the item, and so you don't want that. You want that pressed completely together. So what you would do is, so for me, how I put this in is the side that's going to be showing, I put that on the bottom of the press. And it's just because for me, I guess sometimes I'm a little wonky, and one side will bend if I'm not careful. So you do have to be careful. That's just be careful. So anyway, you can, and you will feel, so let me do that again. So this here, so this moves up and down. So what I usually do is just slide the rivet in there. The rivet post slides right into there, and as you can tell, it doesn't move. It doesn't move at all. And that's how you know you have it in there. You don't want this moving around, sliding off of here. You want this to be caught into that, you want it to sit inside this little ridge here. So again, usually for me, I just do this just to make sure it's in there right. And then again, you go ahead and you just press it down. And there you have it. There you have it. It is in there, both sides. This one I did good. I admit sometimes if I'm not careful, if I don't set that in there right, you will see a little bend or something. But as you can see, it is in there. It is not moving. Okay, everybody, so that is it. That is my comparison video between the Gold Star press and the KamSnaps press, how I learned to pick the right rivet size. Again, I just really looked at comments in different videos and different handbag groups, and then I also, when I read the supply list, when I'm making a handbag or wallet, it'll say what size rivet is needed or best or recommended for that particular project. And so, and as you get used to making handbags and wallets and using rivets and these different tools, you may adjust that. Like I said, once I started making handbags for a little while, I decided, you know, I'm just going to stick to 9mm rivets for all of my projects, as opposed to switching them out to different sizes. However, again, continuing to learn and grow in this whole process, I do want to get the longest post that I possibly can now, and I'll do research. If I need to buy another die, I will. And I'll buy it from Gold Star, because that's the one that I use to set all of my rivets. But anything with my snaps, hole punch, I'll use my KamSnaps for that. So that is why I have two. It's all about convenience. You don't have to have two. But again, it's almost like having multiple sewing machines, and I have 4 of those. So anyways, all totally up to you. So again, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down in the comment section below. And don't forget to check the description box. I will have links to everything that I have mentioned here in today's video. But I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. Definitely let me know. And if there's any other questions I can answer, I will leave them down. I'll respond to them in the comments down below. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.